I was raised in a really religious home, which I'm really grateful for. It set an amazing foundation for me, but I never thought that I would be in ministry by any means. I was just out of high school. I moved from Fort Worth and came back to Northwest Oklahoma, which is my hometown, born and raised. When I came, I got a job in the oil field. I was making more money than I knew what to do with. I had an awesome, bright yellow sports car, and yet I was as empty as I've ever been, and I had no direction for my life. That all really came to a head when the oil field crashed and I lost my job, and I was forced to make some decisions. Quite honestly, that was a breaking point in my life. I heard the Spirit speak to me in a voice that was louder than audible in my spirit, pulling me towards ministry and specifically planting churches. But I had no idea where to start or what to do because I had no college experience and certainly no seminary experience. So I just did the only thing that I knew I could do, which was start an online ministry blog. And I just began to write my thoughts and what God was speaking to me and really learned to teach the Bible. It was so cool just to watch God begin to open doors as He confirmed His calling in my life, and led to an opportunity for me to speak at a church. And this is a kid who failed high school speech class almost. And yet when I stood up to speak, something came over me, and it was as if God had lighted a new gift in my heart and in my soul, and I came to life as I stood up there and I spoke. Eventually, I got an opportunity to be a youth pastor as an intern level for a summer in Northwest Oklahoma, which I thought was awesome. It's cool to see how God was preparing both of us through that season.
Also, like Blake, I grew up in a Christian home, and I was in church pretty much anytime you could be in the doors. So when I was about 16, I really grew like a heart for missions and stuff. I didn't really think that I would ever be like in full-time ministry, and it kind of took me a while to catch up with Blake, but I did, and now my whole heart's in it.
And so I stayed, and Taylor went off to school, and we did the long distance thing, made it work. As I was moving out of that youth pastor season, a more traditionally established church asked us to come on as pastors, and we had this really cool year where we got to prepare for ministry. At the end of that year and getting married in between, Taylor and I were back ready to plant a church and having to decide where we were going to plant that church. And so we just began this process of searching through these bigger cities, and we kind of narrowed it down to Kansas City, Denver, and Miami.
When we were in Miami, we were with some other church planners, and then we were in a car ride going to eat, and this church planner said, "Don't go where the statistics are, go where your heart is." Just at that moment, like Blake and I knew that like our heart was in Woodward and that we wanted to be a church that was here now, a contemporary church.
I took a lot of Woodward and the people and the things for granted here. And I knew that this area needed a life-giving church. Every time I'd walk into a church like that, I said, Woodward needs a place like this, where broken people can heal, where it's not just about outward appearance, but like there's true transformation taking place. And I think it was on the airplane ride home where the Holy Spirit just wrestled me to the ground, and like I knew it was Woodward. Honestly, the hardest part of planning a church, I think, up to this point has been naming the church. And we were actually sharing this with the very first couple that joined our launch team, Garrett and Michelle Olive, and a great couple who's been with us every step of the journey. And we shared that our name was going to be Grace Fellowship. Garrett kind of looked at me and in the nicest way possible told me that was a terrible decision. And it was actually Garrett who suggested that we name our church Ascent. So it's kind of a play on words that we are a sent church. We're sent out. But also it goes with the vision of Ascent, which is climbing to a peak, that our church is a place for those who think, man, there's just got to be more to this life. Like God has to have more for me. And we say, yes, like you can begin your ascent right now. And I want our church to be a place that is welcoming. You come as you are, and it doesn't matter where you've been or what you've been labeled as. Here, you have a chance at a new beginning, because that's Jesus. My heart is that every man, woman, and child in Northwest Oklahoma would encounter the love of Jesus, even if they never attend a church.
We want our church to be fun. We want it to be welcoming and inviting. We want the kids to have fun, but we also want to give lessons that they can comprehend and that they can take home and be excited about.
At Ascent, every single week we are going to provide celebratory, inspirational worship that'll lead right into a sermon that is designed to build you up and not beat you up. It should be filled with hope so that you can use what you learn on Sunday in your daily life on Monday. So our whole journey culminates on September 15th when we officially launch Ascent Church. And it doesn't matter if you've never been able to fit in with a group because we're all new. And we truly believe that nobody's perfect, so everyone's invited, and with God, anything's possible.
Join us September 15th at 9:30 and 11 a.m. at the Woodward Event Center.
We would love for you to join us.